Hey guys, this is Talking Retro with Joe, episode 4. My name is John with Gamester81.com. I'm here with Joe Cody from Atari2600.com. How you doing, Joe?
John, it's nice to see you again. Thanks for coming over.
We got some interesting things we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about a game, first Journey Escape, and then we're going to also talk about grading as well.
Right.
So let's start with Journey Escape, Joe.
Well, I brought this game today to show you and to show everybody a little bit of the reason that classic video games are popular is oftentimes they cross over into other aspects of our lives that we enjoy. In this case, what I brought is a video game which has a crossover to music, rock and roll. And this one is, for me personally, important because this Journey Escape video game is based on the album by the same name, which happens to be the first rock and roll concert that I went to
That's cool.
many years ago, 1981.
Nice.
And just to kind of tie the whole thing together, John, I'm not sure if you've noticed I'm wearing something special for you today.
Right on. Sure,
yeah. I have to apologize. It's a little bit snug and a little faded. So what I've done is I never throw anything away. What I have here is my rock concert shirt from the Journey Escape. This was at the Seattle Center Coliseum in 1981.
Wow.
So I brought the shirt out. But what's interesting is, so they were a mega band in the early 1980s. They were promoting their brand new album. And here we have, really for the first time in the history of video games, a crossover between music, rock and roll, touring, and video games. Here's the Journey Escape video game for the Atari 2600 system.
How's the game itself? How does it play?
I think it's a pretty good game. I enjoy it myself. It's not a very popular game. It doesn't have a lot of depth to it. It's a single screen action type of a game.
Okay.
And day-to-age games are sort of simplistic in nature. And I think it's probably sold well because of the subject matter and the fact that it was tied to a popular album at the time. But
Sure.
It's not a very expensive video game. It's not very common. The box version that I have here for you is it's priced less than $10. I'm guessing somewhere between $5 to $10 for the box complete Journey Escape. But this little tour down memory lane has one other piece that I wanted to show you. It's right here in the center. So we have, this is a Atari 2600 prototype cartridge for Journey Escape. So
wow, that's cool.
You can take a look at that. This would have been used by Data Age to probably demo the game prior to its release. It could be something that was used by the developers to test various versions of the game. It has a simple sticker on the front which indicates its serial number is number 25. So at least they made at least 25 of the prototypes. And it's kind of nice that it kind of ties together with my memory of the first big rock concert. Here's the pre-release prototype and then the video game itself.
That's cool. So what does the prototype go for typically? Do you have any ideas for value?
Yeah, this is an uncommon prototype. It's a third party, meaning it's not an Atari produced prototype. And Data Age prototypes are kind of, well, I can say that they're very difficult to find. We've only ever had maybe 2 of them before in stock. The value on that prototype would be in the $150 price range.
Wow, cool.
That's a fair price.
Cool.
Well, on a different path, one of the things that I thought would be interesting to discuss would be, everybody has collections and they always are wanting to know, what's my game's worth? Am I paying a fair price for the video games? Or if I'm looking at something to buy, is it priced accordingly?
Right.
And I can tell you that we do a lot of this here every day of the week. We're constantly looking at condition, rarity, price, and these are the 3 things that come together to determine what something is really worth.
Sure.
And what I have on the table here is, on this side over here, we have 4 Atari video game cartridges.
Okay.
Atari Video Cube cartridges, I'm sorry. And the reason I brought 4 of them today was to illustrate the difference in condition. Condition is one of the most important parts of pricing.
Okay.
And what we have here from this side going this direction is, this is a game which is in perfect flawless condition, meaning its a number grade is 10 out of 10. A 10 out of 10 video game has to be perfect. It couldn't have like a factory defect, like something from the factory. It couldn't have a label defect or anything, and of course it has to be in working condition. The next one is a 9, an 8, and a 7. In our grading scheme here, it goes on a scale of 1 to 10, but you won't see games typically listed below a 7. And so for practical terms, it's a 10-point scale, 1 to 10. But we only use numbers really 6 to 10. So, you know, below that, you're talking about a grade that's so worn that it would sell at a steep discount. And there really isn't a reason to grade below a 6. The one that you picked up is a 7.
This has got I see you can see the nail hole there, and it's got some scratches on the label.
It is, and I think we're going to do a close-up, and you can get a better look at it, but you're exactly right. Well, what I'm looking at on this game as compared to, for example, the first one you grabbed, which is a 10, the wear is pretty subtle. When you first pick it up, it looks like a pretty good condition game. That's a good indication that it's a 7. But when you look closer, there's a dimple, in fact, a small tear visible over the screw hole. There's a small mark in here, and if you look at the end label, it's not too bad. And this is actually, you could say that could be like a high grade 7. It would be considered a grade 7, and this would be a 10. The other thing I was going to talk about on these games is, let's talk about how the condition affects the price on these games over here.
Okay.
So let's say that this game, let's start with this one right here, which is a 7 out of 10. The next thing before we come up with the price on this game here at Atari2600.com is, what's the rarity of this game? Rarity means how often is this game in the marketplace? How often is it available for somebody to buy? How long would you have to wait, for example, to find this game at the price that you'd want to pay for it? I
have a question for you when it comes to rarity. Now, is there situations where a game could be rare, but they're maybe not highly desired?
And that's the other factor, which is supply and demand.
Right.
And this is a good example. We can actually kind of look at that factor. On the rarity side of this game, however, we track the sales of these games, this game and all the other collectible Atari games. And based on the frequency of sale, this game is assigned a rarity of 5 out of 10. So that would give it a mid-rarity, right? It's not a rare, it's not, even to call it rare would be maybe an overstatement.
So 10 is super rare?
10 would be the very rarest game, and 1 would be super common. So a 5 out of 10, to use the word rare, is kind of, it's barely rare. I would say it's more than uncommon. I don't know how else you describe it. Okay, so here's how we would come up with the price on this. Using the price guide, and this information is published by us once a year. It's a collector's guide to the Atari 2600.
So this is on your website as well?
And this is information that's also available on the website. Okay. You'll see that there's a value here in the first page and second page. Atari 2600, Atari Video Cube cartridge only. It's rarity 5, and it's given a value of $19. That's an average price of what this game sells for in all conditions, $19. Okay. And so what we do on the 7 out of 10 is we sell the 7 out of 10 at $19, because what that means is a person that's interested in this game is not going to want to pay a premium for it because of the condition. And secondly, they're not going to want to pay a premium for this because a 5 out of 10 rarity, this game is generally available in the marketplace. You would not have to wait for a long time for another example to come along that maybe you would choose. So you have to be very competitive when it comes to a game that's rarity 5, rarity 6, and so forth. That's in 7 out of 10 condition. It really shouldn't carry a premium at all. And then as we go up the condition scale here, it's interesting to note, this one over here was the 10 out of 10, the one that's in flawless condition.
Sure.
So this one, the 7 out of 10, it sells for $19. This one is priced at $30, so it's basically a 50% premium only for the condition of the game. And that sounds like maybe a lot, 50%, it's $30 instead of $19, but it's only 50%. If this game was rarity, let's just say it was a game that had a rarity of 8 or a rarity of 9, a game like a Music Machine or something that's a very rare game, the premium for a flawless condition cartridge wouldn't be like we see here, which is 50%, it would be like 100%. So that game would maybe have a base price in let's say $100, and I could find in 100. In flawless condition,
$200.
$200, wow. And honestly, it could go higher than that because the game is so rare to begin with, and then to be in flawless condition, you really could even go even higher than that. And most games aren't in that condition. Really, they're in an 8, 9, and 7 is what we typically see as far as...
Does it get more complicated when you include the boxes and the instructions?
It sure does.
And then you get cartridges that are maybe at 10, but the box might be at 7, and I'm sure it complicates.
There's a rule of thumb on that, and it does confuse a lot of people because they have 3 things to consider. They have the box, the cartridge, and the manual. How does everything come together into a total price? The rule of thumb is that when it comes to... Now you kind of work in reverse. The value of this game, if let's just say this one example, let's just say it's $10 for a simple and the cartridge is worth 3.
Okay.
So the box is worth, what, 200 times? The value of the box is far significant to the value of the cartridge. And that rule of thumb applies to all Atari 2600 box games. So when it comes to grading, you need to grade the box and the cartridge and also the instruction manual. And what you do is, when it comes to assessing a value, is you assign a much higher portion of it to the condition of the box and less to the cartridge. You can also price the cartridge separately from the box. So for simplicity, we stayed with the cartridges over here, but that's a good point and a nice discussion for another day, perhaps.
Cool. Awesome. And people can find this on your website as well. And it covers just Atari 2600 games, or does it cover other...
It's specific to the Atari 2600 video games. This printed catalog is produced once a year. This is the 2012 edition of it. And it's given away complimentary to people that purchase video games through our online store. The same information is available, obviously, for free on our website under a page which is called Price Guide. And I encourage people to use the Price Guide because the values that are listed on the website and also in the printed value here guide are based on 8 years worth of sales data and average prices. So it's really a fair valuation. And if you start with the price in here and then add a premium, if you have a condition, you can add a premium. You're you're much further along in determining what the fair market value of your video game is than many other means.
Sure. That's interesting, Joe. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Well, Joe, thank you for joining me in episode 4 of Talking Retro with Joe. Guys, definitely encourage you guys to check out Atari 2600. You can get some great games. He also sells systems and accessories for video games. Also, be sure to remember, check out the price guide. If you guys want to know more about the Atari 2600 games price guide, check that out. It's a free price guide that Joe has put a lot of work into, as you mentioned before, 8 years worth of data.
That's true.
To put this together for you guys. So great resource for you guys. Well, thank you, Joe. Appreciate your time.
Thanks so much, John.
Yep.
You bet. Good day.